What's going on, guys? Welcome to Learn Crypto, presented by Wyckoff SMI. My name is Nick Hellman.
I'm Todd Butterfield.
How you guys doing today? Feeling a little bit better today?
After that music, they loved it.
Yeah, that music, they were loving it.
We were busy and we had to replace. I didn't pay for the Rosie one, so we just grabbed one, paid for it, and got it going. You guys are stupid.
We'll let a couple more people get in here, see what you guys are talking about, and then we'll get started.
Rock and roll. A little better at the moment. Bitcoin knock on 11,000 after doing what, 11.6 I think.
Shout out to Edwin.
Recovery. What's up, Sweeney?
What's up, Sobin? All right, well, you want to get this going? Let's do it.
Go.
With a common denominator.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down.
I'm not here to waste your time.
Where else you gonna have this much fun?
You the man. You the man.
Todd Father.
Show me the money.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, it's no trick to make a lot of money. All you want is to make a lot of money.
Welcome to Learn Crypto. We're trading every day.
What up, Hammer?
Listen
What's up,
to
Jeffrey?
the Todd Father and everything Nick says. You gotta know what you see. Don't be a Gary. If you want that pork master, here's the place to be. At Learn Crypto. Welcome to Learn Crypto. We'll make you rich. We're gonna ride that pump.
What the hell? What's up, Jay? Thank you for that intro. I see Rice Sweeney's in here. That's the guy that did all of our visuals. Shout out to him.
Charlie Lee just posted a tweet out saying that they're about to release a new Litecoin core that's going to reduce the fees on Litecoin even further. So that's interesting as well. I know I use Litecoin a lot.
182 Litecoin. After doing what, a 137 on the low. Nice percent rally. 137 to 195 off today's low. Whoa. What's up, Taj?
What's going on,
F
Crypto
Killer.
Canyon?
Moscow, what's going on?
Brian said he's new here and loves the stuff. Glad to have you. Make sure to like and subscribe. Where do you want to get started, Todd?
I'm just reading a few things here. Go ahead and do your thing if you're ready. Crypto Dent, shout out.
I guess we'll just start by looking at the good old cryptocurrency market cap.
Yep.
We're finally starting to see a little bit of green here. We're hoping that we start to dig in some of these prices so we can move upward. We're not out of the woods yet, but it's nice to at least have some green here.
I need to wear a green hat, I guess.
Yeah. Bitcoin is $11,059. Litecoin is $182. Neo is pushing $138. Who would have thought after a big drop that Neo would still be sitting above 100 like this? This is good. Stellar's finally pushing back over 45 cents. Dash is looking cheap here at $7.95. And Tron up 40%.
Right.
I guess people are getting back on board. Now, granted, it's up 40%, but it's still only sitting below 8 cents. It has a high of like 25 cents.
It was up like 60 earlier today, so it came running for it for a while.
Yeah, we have a couple of news articles I wanted to look at here. I thought this was interesting. The U.S. rating agency will issue letter grades on cryptocurrencies next week. With how bad CNBC is with their cryptocurrency analysis, I'm interested to see if they can do a better job here. I don't know if you guys saw my retweet, but CNBC put out an article saying among all the red coins in the cryptocurrency market cap, one called USDT is up 3%. So they're almost pushing people to invest in USD Tether at $1.03 when it's pegged to the dollar. I don't know who back checks their information, but that's just almost comical to me. I don't understand it.
Hey, let me interrupt for a second. Hey, Moscow and Corey, I mean, I know you guys are both supporters, so Corey, I'm guessing he is wrong. He's talking about Morse code, who's been a total idiot towards the channel. So I'm sure Corey just is wrong, and Moscow, you know, let's all get along because we're all cool. And Corey's done a ton for me and his wife, so you guys are all big supporters. So, you know, I think we're all confusing it for Morse code. Let's not give any more talk than he deserves. So we're all good, guys.
Jeffrey said, "Hey Todd, that XLM trade is still going on, sitting at plus 20% right now."
Yep, that one's
I still see a lot
good.
of upside. So, anyways, Weiss Ratings, the national leading independent rating agency of financial institutions, will issue letter grades on cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and so on, and so many more. Somebody said in here that these are probably going to be awful. If they got good research team, though, I think it can be interesting to maybe help beginner investors so they're not getting caught up with vaporware coins or anything like that, and that they really get involved in some good projects. I just thought this was something that was good to bring up. Also, even after all the red, MUFG, the biggest Japanese bank, is looking to open a cryptocurrency exchange. I know we're all pushing for decentralization. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know. They don't really give much information. They don't talk about the coins that are going to be on there. They just talk about that there's already 17 cryptocurrency exchanges in Japan, and this is looking to be the 18th. Like I said, not much information here. I grabbed it more for the title and that a bank is trying to get on board with creating a cryptocurrency exchange. So we'll kind of see how that one plays out. I don't know if you guys have any more information. You can post it in the chat. Just thought that was interesting.
Wayne, I don't know why you're not getting notifications. I mean, that's really a YouTube thing. Try to check into that.
Make sure you have the bell pressed. I'm sure you do. I know YouTube has a problem with that bell with some of the people that I follow as well too. I don't see it till the next day.
Exactly.
So, if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook, we send out a Sprout Social event reminder, so you can get on that too, and hopefully you can see one of those pop-ups for us.
Yeah, Wayne says he's got the bell press. I'm sure he did, but yeah,
Yep.
nothing. I don't think there's anything we can do about that. So.
Yep.
Sorry, Wayne.
And then the last news article that I kind of really want to talk about was pertaining to Bitconnect.
Yeah, let's go over that.
It came to my attention that I might have snarked at Bitconnect yesterday, and I really wasn't snarking at the people that were the users that were involved in Bitconnect, but more at the platform itself.
That's when we got ready to go live. I mean, we saw the information come from the company, and it looked like, to me, it was just going to be an orderly exit.
Yeah, so we kind of had the impression that they were going to be opening up the wallets for a week for you to liquidate your funds.
Glad they were shut down.
Yeah, and I guess it turned out that they just gave you all your funds in a fair market value of Bitconnect, which is 360.
And people somewhat lost the majority of their assets.
Yeah, so if anybody was involved with that, you know, that's a terrible situation. And obviously, if they're giving you Bitconnect and they're saying they're closing, everybody's going to hit the markets and try to sell. So there's going to be a lack of liquidity available, which is why the price dropped so rapidly.
Plus, I would think that, you know, some of that probably is what brought in the selling to all these markets. Because, you know, if you had 25,000, let's just say, invested, then you had 25,000 with Bitconnect. When you wake up and the 25,000's gone, you know, what are you going to do with the other 25,000? Especially if your wife is over your top of your shoulder.
Yeah, so you're probably seeing selling on the user side there, and you also might be seeing an exit scam on Bitconnect's side where they're taking those assets and liquidating so they can't be traced back to them and trying to get away with the fast one.
I was given a number of 10 billion, so by someone knowledgeable, a subscriber that knows his stuff. So I guess they did an exit scam. So sorry to anybody out there like that. I mean, we kind of taken the high road. Wasn't definitely not recommending it. Just kind of standing by the side. But I think importantly now, I think it might have been what got these markets even lower today. So maybe that, you know, maybe we have a good low, which I'll show some charts here in a minute.
Matt, do you want to take a look at some charts here?
Yeah, let's go. I mean, Bitcoin, this is the 5 minute. Let's bounce out a little bit.
Is that a chart big enough for you guys to see the details on? If not, we have a full screen of the chart, but you're not going to be able to see Todd or the chat on it. So just let me know what you guys think.
All right, so that's the 1 hour. I mean, we've definitely spiked, shook everybody out, came down to the support level I mentioned at 90, I think I was talking 9,300. Caught it yesterday, and then really, you know, we got a little lower than that today, but have rallied off of there. Again, everybody knows I do the Wyckoff method, but I'm knowledgeable in Elliott Wave, and we got an Elliott Wave course coming, done by George Stein. So if you're looking at Elliott wave, I mean, from the low this morning, we've had probably count it 1, 2, 3. So if you're really bullish here, we really need this thing to come together right here at this 10.9 and go to new highs above 11.7. If that would happen, that would, for an Elliott wave stance, it would make it that we maybe just put in a decent low finally. So
does this full screen look better, guys? I know you're asking for it.
If we fade here, we're going to be in trouble. So yeah, and he said float me on top of it, but I don't know if we can do that right now. But that's what we probably need to do. So there we are. Dang, you know what you're doing over there. So like I said, I really need Bitcoin to hold right here and go through 11.6, 11.7, the previous high from what, an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. So let's see if we can get that going. Bitcoin Cash did what is about a 1,300, rallied to 1,800. I mean, those are big percent gains off extremely low levels. Hopefully, same thing there. We can put together a 5-wave advance off those lows. All these charts are going to look the same. There's Dash 802 after doing a 600. Ethereum Classic was what, like 22 this morning? Below 22, 21. Did a 30. So
Andrew, it's snowing up here.
Big rallies off the low if you put some money to work at the low. Estaj says another low coming around 7 or 8. If we can't put a good rally here together, then I'd agree we're going to tag through 9 again and give everybody another scare. So Ethereum 995 after doing a 770 or so. I mean, so far they're holding right here, but you know, we're going to have next hour is going to be critical, I think, to try to keep these levels up. Otherwise, we just came back to previous 4th wave resistance, where it's a good place to stop. So if we stop here, it's probably going to tell you we got another tag to new lows coming, and that could be a quick tag to new lows. So Neo down below 100 again. Quick rally to 150, a 50% rally off the bottom. I mean, I think that's still a coin that you're going to wake up and be glad you own 6 months from now. But short-term volatility, anybody's guess. Ripple below $1 a few times yesterday, today. Same chart pattern as everything else. 88 put together a nice rally off the bottom. I think we're going to look at Tron too. That one had the big rally that Nick just mentioned. But there, ADA, that's a 5-minute. Let's go out to the hourly and get a better picture of it. And this was pretty good strength here, and pretty good strength here with the way the markets have been acting, and came back to previous support. So ADA should be one looking good once we shake off this correction. So what else here? A few more before we look at what everybody's talking about on the chat box.
Corey's saying Tether printed another 100 million today. That's interesting.
One day you're going to want to chart the Tether balance against these things, because when everybody's running to Tether, that's when you're going to want to flip the other way.
Yeah, and also this MUFG, Japanese cryptocurrency bank exchange I was talking about, they were talking about that they were going to make their own digital asset that was going to be pegged to the Japanese currency, similar to Tether. So that's kind of an interesting approach, and they probably would have the money to back that. But it obviously allows investors to have a hedge against the markets on down cycles.
So one day we're going to want to chart that, because everybody running to Tether now shows that everyone's scared to death. So there's some dollar value on Tether where you're going to want to fade that. And I'm guessing we're probably right about there.
Yeah, are tracking the value. Maybe when people are starting to move over there, then you're kind of getting a heads up from some of the whales.
And there's a Tron from 4 to 7, so big percent gain today. Not real good on the hourly chart. As you know, we came off hard. I personally think that the next rally is still going to be led, you know, by the Bitcoins, Litecoins, Ethereums, and still the big names, Dash, maybe Ethereum Classic, etc. I don't think it's going to be some of these smaller caps. I think they got overextended and they're overowned still, so I think their rallies are going to be percent-wise maybe decent from here, but a little more labored to the upside. So I think they're going to come for the big names. And I think you're going to have more institutions coming, and the bigger stock funds from stock investors, and once again they're going to rally to they're going to go to the big names first, and if the ETFs get launched. So
Digital Mining Solutions said he needs to start going to work earlier so he can catch the live stream.
And I keep saying I'm going to try to get live during the day. I mean, I probably need Nick, our tech guy, to make sure I got that all figured out. I've still been pretty busy, but I think things are going to settle down a little bit here for us all. So then I'm going to try to get on here. And then I did mention, I think, in the Discord, the guy that set me up with the bar charts originally, I think he left there, went to work for a crypto firm. I think as he believed in the cryptos. So he has told me they've got an API that's the top 8 exchanges, and for basically any coin that I want. So I asked Vladimir to look into it. I don't really want to pay them to make a switch again, but you know, we've got to have, I can't have software that's not kicking us out what we need. So I've got to have it giving us the data that we're all looking for. Top 8 exchanges, you know, might be better than 39 exchanges. And then the Bitcoin pairings, which a lot of people want to argue about that they want to trade, I'm not going to have 8 exchanges. So still trying to make that decision. So
They're wanting to see Lisk and Zclassic.
Lisk.
Just kind of asking your opinion on it and my opinion on it as well.
I know you've been friendly this one, so I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I still have it as a core position in my portfolio. I need to dig in and see what's going on with the roadmap and stuff and see if they're still going to do the rebranding. But I'm still holding at this time. I didn't sell any in the dip. I didn't buy any more in the dip, though, either. So
I think, you know, a little bit of Elliott Wave, you got 1975 as support. And then you would have had previous support back here at 1432, which almost caught this morning's low. So I would think, you know, and all of a sudden we were from 15 to 22, but I think you can buy that on any sell-off, you know, weakness in the next day or so, or if we tag new lows again. Be kind of prepared for ones you might want to pick up.
And before you look at the Zclassic chart, I have a little article I wanted to pull up here pertaining to that. Somebody passed this on to me. We talked about ZCL, I guess, a couple days ago, or maybe that was in the first live stream, that they didn't really have a definitive roadmap on the Bitcoin private fork. They did just release a tweet, I believe this was from today. They felt they needed to be a little more transparent, and they put a short-term roadmap together. So they're working on beta testing for the wallet, and then they're going to be releasing the wallet here soon. They're going to do simulations on their side with their Zclassic, which are probably, they say, is going to occur January 20th or 21st. And then they're going to do a fork within that wallet with their own currency first. Then they said they're going to rigorously test it and then announce a fork date once everything is set in stone. So I think this is a good sign that at least the fork's actually going to happen. That was kind of a conspiracy theory up in the air as well. I'm still leaning toward, you know, the whole development team is moving from Zclassic to Bitcoin private. And as of now, they don't have anybody in the community that's really going to take over development. So I think that's still kind of up in the air for what's going to be the future of Zclassic. So I'm thinking a lot of people right after the fork or just prior to the fork may leave Zclassic to increase their position in Bitcoin private or another coin of their choice. So I think that would be something to keep an eye on, or maybe you put, right before the fork, you put a stop loss on your Zclassic just in case that does happen. At least you can get out of the way before it goes downhill if they're not going to put together a new development team. I'll throw this back over to Todd and we'll see what's going on over on the chart.
First of all, I got to keep my train of thought here because we had the CBOE, you know, the futures, Bitcoin futures contract expired today. CEO Ed Tilley said that, you know, definitely the regulators are going to want to see a series of settlements with no problems. So getting through today's was good. Getting through one another month, another couple months. They do say here that they may explore products built around other coins, which would be interesting. And then that would obviously bring these ETFs to the forefront much quicker, which I think will still be coming. So again, the futures probably made it easier to short this thing on the way down, but also could be just as easy to roar it back on the upside now. So we shall see on that one. And Zclassic?
Zclassic and Tron.
Yep, Zclassic. I mean, you can see here, this is the Port Blaster support earlier was 90.72. That tagged yesterday's low, today's low. So you can see that looks pretty impressive on the chart there for the support to come in right there. You don't have very much selling volume on here, so that one still looks good.
As far as when you have to have your Zclassic, I'm not sure at which block height that is occurring yet. I don't know if they've even released the block height yet, as they don't even have the wallet created for it yet. Could be wrong, but I haven't seen a block height for when that's going to occur, so I would keep an eye out for that. Or if somebody has that information, please let them know.
There's the Tron again. I mean, big percent gain, but some of these coins kind of remind me like in 2000 when tech stocks topped out, because everything that was loved, you know, labored to come back. I think some of these coins, you know, I mean, Litecoin's like a 190. I mean, we could wake up if these things turn around and Litecoin will be right back 230, 240.
Yeah, EV Killers there saying they haven't announced the snap yet either. See, I didn't think they did, so.
Then Ethereum, you know, could be back to 12, 1300 in no time, but some of these other coins that got really bought up, you know, they're going to struggle some. I mean, Tron could get back to, you know, 11 or 12, I would think that'd be a pretty big, but that's a big percent move from here. I mean, it could double and still not look that great on the charts. So
I wanted to touch base a little bit on Ethos that we talked about yesterday. Had somebody in the community reach out who has actually been part of Ethos since ICO when it was Bitcoins for about 5 cents. He's very knowledgeable on it, and also he knows people that work on the project testnet, so he has kind of a little bit of inside information from the developers there. So I have no reason to really question whether they're going to be sticking to the roadmap or not. He said they are. When I meant by an onboarding platform or a Coinbase killer, I didn't really say it specifically, but you are going to be able to move fiat or USD over to that platform, just like you can on GDAX, Coinbase, or Gemini. So that's another really good selling point. It's another entry point for new investors and seasoned investors to get their USD onto a platform. Also, when they talk about this one-click diversification, they're going to have some sector indexes or sector pools available, maybe a privacy sector, large cap, top 10, where you can reallocate a certain percentage of your portfolio with one click of the button. We'll see how efficient those sectors are, or what kind of Ethos fee. I'm sure you have to pay Ethos to get part of that group, how much that cost. But that's very interesting. He explained more of that in detail to me, which I thought was cool. And then as far as they got upcoming roadmap things, they have a universal wallet release in Q1. So that's going to be probably something similar to what the current Jax wallet is, where you can hold multiple currencies and maybe swap them out using Ethos or maybe peer-to-peer transactions. And then in Q2, they're actually launching their fiat gateway, where you're going to be able to move USD probably from a credit card and a bank account onto the platform and start trading almost like you're on GDAX or Coinbase with the Ethos community. So I just wanted to add a little more detail to that. I know I was pretty bullish on it yesterday, but when he gave me some of this information from some of these project test guys, I thought that was pretty relevant for the community.
can you roll up and wrench Blanco Kennel? Just roll up right there. Wrench that. Thank you.
Cool.
The CBOE, the CFTC reported a 1907 contract net short position. I mean, that contract is settled in cash, so not a big deal. In front of us is XMR Monero. I mean, again, some of these charts are looking this way. You had previous support down here at 212, and we tagged 232. Today we tagged 235. So I think that's, you know, that chart looks really good. And it's still going to look good if Bitcoin takes one more dip down and this thing does, you know, the 212. So don't be scared of another sell-off down there. The problem is that's 100 lower all of a sudden. 40% down. Because people, you know, people are asking still, even with myself. I got caught too long here. I wasn't in a lot of the, you know, the lower caps that took percent gains, but also had pretty good rallies off the low. But if you're looking for, you know, the problem is if you're trading a stock and you're looking for 50% gains, it's easy to put a stop on it. You know, maybe put a stop down 15 or something. But in these cryptos, I don't know if we're looking at still, you know, another 300 or 400 or 500% move. So if you're looking for that type of move still, it's hard to have a 10 or 20% stop or a 30% stop.
Yeah, it's really relevant in this market if you're really long on here. And you're thinking we're seeing in the trillions.
You know, we talk about
stopped out on that.
Right, we talk about stops. We talk about, you know, Matt was always saying that, but that's when you're short-term trading. Yeah, you have to have stops, but on PCG, I'm trying to hit a long-term home run. Everyone's kind of agreed that we're 70% long and holding. I can trade around 20 or 30%. And I think to kind of talk about that, I mean, I had somebody like, well, Ethereum's fall off the high quite a bit. Why didn't we have a stop? Well, back here we had, what, an 873 down to 490. So, you know what, you're going to use a 30% stop, 40% stop? Because at 10 or 20, you would have got stopped out on this break. You would have missed this whole rally. And then here, if you use a 30% stop, you got stopped out around 1,000. So, you know, stops are tough in any stock market environment, but in these cryptos, it's extremely hard because we're not trying to make 20% in the next year. I mean, if Ethereum digs in here, I mean, who knows? Is it going to 3,500? So I'm a believer in this area still for a few years. I think everybody that's a PCG client, probably everybody on this channel is saying the same thing. So it's just hard to, you know, I think stops are definitely good if you got a position and everything's been going against you. I mean, a lot of clients have been around. They've experienced these. I mean, a lot of people's like, you know, I got some phone calls, not very many. I got a few texts. I got a few emails. I mean, no one's really panicking. I mean, really, it's time to try to add some money if you can.
Nate's saying hold for the Lambo money and trade for the lunch money.
Right.
I think that's a good thing to look at it, you know.
You know, and I love to trade. I mean, my God, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to say more so, and especially with the software. But
somebody's wondering if you could.
I don't want to miss a home run.
Please explain candle wicks in layman's terms.
Candle wicks, candlesticks.
So I'm assuming they're just talking about, you know, on a green candle that it's getting pushed from below or above or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
actually zoom in and show that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really talk in that term really, and I don't do candlestick patterns. You know, I really look at 5-minute waves with volume, so which is what we're going to have one day soon. So again, guys, the software is done. I'm hoping to not change the API provider, but you know, I can't sell something to somebody that's not up to par. And maybe we can, I'm probably going to launch the way it is, and if Vladimir thinks, and I think the other feed's better, then we'll probably build that on the side, and then we'll switch it out one day, which will screw up everybody's, you know, trend lines they've saved and support and resistance and markings. We'll just have to deal with that. But, you know, right now, I mean, the software's done. They're just getting it, everything working properly, and I got to get it. You know, I'm going to need some help from Matt as well, probably, to get my WordPress site working correctly. A lot of moving parts. So now we got Bitcoin 11,282. You know, myself crossing my fingers that we can do an 11.8 here, and I think that
shout out Steve
maybe takes the bears away. So
somebody was wanting to see the Bitcoin Cash chart, and then they're asking me whether I thought they were going to be another go at Bitcoin from Bitcoin Cash. I don't see Roger Ver and his team giving up. They spent a lot of money to spam the mempool, hypothetically. That's not proven. They've done the fork. He owns Bitcoin.com. He allegedly bought Bitcoin's Twitter address. I truly think in his mind he thinks he's got the better product. And for utility purposes, yes, it's a better product, but just by increasing the block size, that as soon as they get more transactions, just like Bitcoin does, they're going to be in the same predicament. They're not solving anything. They don't have as big of a development team. So I think for the long term, unless they make changes as well as Bitcoin needs to, Bitcoin Cash isn't very viable with its current code base. But I don't think Roger Ver is going to give up. He's always on CNBC and the major media networks. He got himself on Coinbase somehow. So I think that's one that's going to continuously see pumps and dumps. So maybe you catch a couple waves. Like I said in the first episode, my opinion on it is to hold at least a small percentage of your portfolio, maybe 5%, even if you don't like the coin, just as a hedge against Bitcoin, and then maybe you get lucky here and there with a couple pumps. So Todd wants to look at the chart there.
You want to roll up to Steve Davis, I think it was there.
I got him.
You got him?
Yep.
Right there. Yeah. All right. Yeah, there's Bitcoin. Same thing. Bitcoin Cash. Be nice if we could go above that 1825 high and put 5 waves on these charts. Here's OMG. I mean, nice pattern out the low. My goodness, 12 on the low, 18 right now. A 50% rally off the low. I mean, that one, let's go back and look at. There's the hourly. Well, I'll remember the days when it was trading between 6 and 10.
Nate, eBoost is about to become a staking coin, and then also you can look at Trezor coin if you're a miner.
Good guys, like right here, how are you going to trade OMG with stops? I mean, I just don't. You know, I'm not sure. Not if you're trying to hit home runs. I mean, these markets are just tough here. So, Litecoin 186. I mean, it found support down at the previous wave here, like a lot of these coins have. So 138 was previous support. We tagged that this morning. So I think the lows in, I think it's 60%, the lows in 40%. We're going to tag it again. If we tag it again, everyone's going to, yeah, I'm guessing we're going to wipe out the last of the weak hands, probably. Let's look at salt. I know that's been, a lot of people have talked about that. I got a feeling that even Nick could probably throw something in, because I know he's all over.
Yeah, I've been in salt, so I am down a little bit right now, but I didn't get in.
Have you been insulted? Or
yeah, I've been insulted by salt's current price, yes. I do like it. It's a lending platform where you can put up your, you can put up your own current digital currencies as collateral. So they're selling it as, you know, you never want to let go of your cryptocurrencies, but this way you can put them up as collateral. Say you have $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, you have them hold your $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. They said they're putting it on hardware wallets or something similar. They can give you an $8,000 fiat loan with low interests, and then you can prepay it whenever you want with no fees. That way you're not triggering a taxable event by cashing in your Bitcoin for whatever you need, and you still own the currency if the price continues to rise. So say you have $10,000 of the Bitcoin and an $8,000 loan from them, and then Bitcoin doubles. Well, now you have $20,000 with them. You can either pay off your current loan, or you can increase your loan value with that same interest rate. So it's kind of a good perspective if you're somebody who's needing cash for other things or not really wanting to liquidate to cause taxable events. So it's something to look into.
And guys, we got a little bit of comedy maybe we're trying to work on, and some things to add to the show. I think now we're just trying to, quickly bullet a bunch of good charts and good information. Keep it short and sweet, to the point, and then try to expand, a little bit more as we get a little more free time and things.
Yeah, we have a bunch of ideas to try to implement. It's just finding time around it, and Todd needs to go home and see his family as well on the weekends here and there. So, but that's all coming.
Weekend, so.
Yeah, he hasn't seen his wife in a while.
Shout out to my mom and dad. I'm sure they're watching. Stand Up PDX. What's going on? Check. Taj wants to check MANA. Let's do Mana BTC, Binance. I'm a good chart pattern as well. Nice rally off the low, obviously. 800 to 1235, 50 off the low. Some of these coins look like, they look good, like they could dig in and do another round of rallying. So
I had a couple things I want to talk about over here.
Do your thing.
First of all, somebody I noticed when I went back to the video from yesterday, somebody was wondering if ARK was similar to Aeon. Aeon we did a pretty in-depth analysis on yesterday. If you guys want to go back and watch that or haven't seen it, ARK is very similar. They're trying to do the same kind of thing, creating bridges between blockchains. I think that Aeon is a little better positioned with the partnership with ICX and WANchain, but I think ARK may have the first mover advantage. Now there are some subtle differences there, but I think their end game is kind of the same thing, and I'm not going to be one to say that two of these can't coexist. I do have equal positions in both ARK and Aeon, so even myself can't really decide which one's going to be the true winner, And I think if they both figure it out, they both have subtle differences, I think they can both succeed in this ecosystem. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't know if whoever said that is in here. And then also I wanted to look at Ubiq. Obviously it's in the title. A lot of people in this community have talked about it, have wanted to know, probably already know a little bit about it. But I officially want to talk about it on this dip. For those of you who don't know, Ubiq most simply is just Ethereum made simple. It's essentially still a protocol token. It was built based off of the Ethereum code base with modifications. They kind of screenshotted that Ethereum code base to where they're not adding some of the other implementations that Ethereum has been doing. And that's why they strive to be a more stable version of Ethereum for current enterprise and companies. Ethereum is always kind of in an alpha or beta stage. They're always trying to implement new things, and they got so many tokens and crypto kitties and all this to try to appease. So Ubiq is really saying, no, we're going to stick to this. This is who we're going to shoot for. They're still taking dApps on it. They have a couple tokens. Geo is about to move over there. If we take a look at their website here, they got a really good core team as well. It's GPU mineable, so you have a baked-in community there with all the GPU miners that have got on board, and they're really striving to work with fintech companies. They won Canadian Fintech Company of the Year last year. They create very professional quarterly reports. I work for an institutional financial advisor, and their quarterly reports are on par with some of the manager statements that I see, which is pretty impressive to me. And then lastly, Ubiq is essentially a good solution if companies want solid, proven properties of Ether, such as smart contract implementation, virtual machine, and the ability to store or create tokens on their protocol. So, I mean, I think it's one to look into. It's got a built-in community with the GPU miners. If you can mine, I would recommend maybe mining a few of those. Disclosure, I do own some, but I'm no big bag holder by any means. I've never actually bought Ubiq. I've mined a little bit here and there with my at-home miner. A lot of people that I respect in the industry, both in the mining and cryptocurrency industry, I'm not going to say any names, are firm believers in Ubiq and are long-term holders of Ubiq. So I think this is one definitely to keep on your radar. It's available on Bittrex, and at these prices, maybe one that you might want to nibble on or take a look at. I'm sure Todd has a chart up over there for it if you guys want to take a look on the TA side of things.
Sure do. And then wrench a couple people, get Ruby there, and then slide up and grab Crypto Logician and Bosniga.
Cool.
All right, there is Ubiq right here. I mean, a big rally from 1 to 7, sitting here now at basically 50% retracement levels. So, as Nick said, probably a decent one to look at.
Monkey wrench Ruby.
Here's Pol, PLLL, somebody just asked about. I mean, really kind of the same type of chart as some of these strong coins have. So, if some of your coins look worse than these on the smaller cap, I think you got to be careful with them, but some of these don't look too bad. RDD, BTC. That one, a quick move and some consolidation. That one I'm not sure about. That one came out of nowhere. I had a couple clients in it, and they did well. But
yeah, I'll throw it over to my screen real quick pertaining to that.
Yeah.
Just wanted to kind of give talking about RDD, kind of a quick shout out to Nate and Crypto 406.
Yep.
They kind of showed me this RDD tipping bot. They tipped me a few times with a couple recommendations, and I know RDD is doing.
You're buying dinner.
100 days. It's not that much, but yeah, I'll buy dinner on me. They're doing 100 days of Redcoin to show proof of concept. So if you guys want to go over there and just follow the tipping bot, obviously it doesn't cost you anything. You're able to add RDD to that. And just by retweeting their thread and following the tipping bot, you have a chance to win a stake in RDD every day for the next 100 days. So might be something to look into. I know that on the TA side, it's kind of indecisive, but I think this is really going to help build the community around it. We've seen a couple pumps out of it. We've seen McAfee talk about it, which is kind of a negative. And I was kind of already looking at it, what was it, 2 days before McAfee pumped it, Todd, when I texted you about it?
Yeah.
And then as soon as he pumped it, I'm like, oh, God. But
oh, yeah.
Just wanted to shout out to them, and maybe you guys want to get over there and take a look at it. It's called @TipRedBot, I believe. So.
All right, bring me back for Ella. Somebody asked about Ella. I mean, we did took out the high of the ICO, which was around 12,105. Now we've came back to that. We had big volume on the upside, not much volume on the pullback. I would say that technically still looks good. Somebody's talking about ADA, which we had said up to today was looking extremely good. We got ADA BTC. I did buy a few clients in that today at the lower levels, so it's holding in there well. Can't complain about that.
Christopher's wanting to look at the BAT token. The basic attention token, I was actually on my list to do research. I just moved it up right now, Christopher, so maybe by tomorrow I'll have more research, but he can look at it on the charts now.
Here's SC, somebody just asked about. That chart is obviously extremely good. Sia coin, major move. That's one of the first coins I mentioned back. That's going to make a guy cry, probably.
Yeah, Sia's an interesting one. I had a little bit back in the day, too, that I mined real quick. Obviously, it was nothing substantial, so I kind of just let it go on one of these pumps, but, you know.
Wow.
Can't win them all.
Had the big pump, the big pullback. All right.
They got a good concept. We'll just see if they can actually make it happen. Essentially, they're doing a cloud storage where all your cloud data is stored on individual entities' hard drives and segments, so that way it keeps it decentralized, and apparently it's like 1/10 of the price of Amazon's cloud service, and with decentralization. As the Sia coin goes up in value, though, that cost goes up, so we'll kind of see what the leveling off point is for that to be effective.
There's basic attention token. That's the daily chart, so let's go back out to the 1 hour. A big rally off this morning's low, so some of these look pretty good. We're going to do Digibyte.
And then OK Cash.
Digibyte USD. I had that big run out of 7 that we talked about. Doubled and then succumbed to some major pressure. So hopefully, again, maybe the low here on the low 4s is good to go. So, okay. Okay. Okay, USD. Up 4%. Hourly chart. I mean, looks a little more trading range. Go out to the 1 day. Major volatility.
This is a pretty small cap coin that is available on Bittrex, though.
Yep. Where I'm looking, let's do PTOY. That's one a lot of people have been on. That's the daily. So capped out at 80. A good 50 off the high now.
Pop's asking about privacy coins, Verge, and Pivx. I think in the first show we did here about a week ago, my personal opinion on some of the sectors that were going to be big winners this year, one was privacy coins. I do like Pivx. Verge, I'm not too sure about. I think it's going to see some pumps due to the unit bias in this ecosystem, where a lot of these newer people are seeing low prices and hoping to buy Lambos. So that's why that you see those.
There's Verge put in a 5-wave off the low.
There you go.
As we're talking.
For large cap, I really like XMR. I think that's a better coin than Zcash personally, because the privacy feature is a must-use when you use Monero, while with Zcash you're not even implementing that on most times. I think there's a couple other privacy coins out here that I was going to talk about at a future date. I'm looking at NAV, and I'm looking at Deep Onion. If those are smaller cap coins that I think have some potential. And then obviously Zcoin, Coin Mastery TV, Carter Thomas was all about that when it was very cheap, like $5, and that's done really well. He has a master node on that. That has a very good community behind it, and has the Z snarks that Zcash and some of these other privacy coins implementing in their verification process. So I think privacy coins are a winner for this year. As more and more tax things get involved and more governments are trying to tax it, I think people are going to try to weasel their way around it and get involved with privacy coins.
Chris mentioned there, why a lot of people don't want to talk about ICOs, etc. I mean, on the channel here, I'm not trying to give information if I don't think it's quality. So, Matt and I was never fundamentalists on coins. So that's why you didn't get it from us. And that's why we brought Nick in.
ICOs are always a little tougher. I do look at some of them, and I'll probably start making comments on them. But with this community, it's tough to get involved in those. The risk to reward always isn't truly measurable.
Right.
And I know this year, in 2017, a lot of people are successful on them, but you hear the success stories. There were equally as many ICOs that have failed or became nothing, other scam projects that have occurred, and that's not where we're trying to build this community. We're trying to talk about coins that we think are going to be here for the long haul, have some good potential while making some big gains at the same time. We're not really into the pump and dump scheme, but if there are some good ICOs that come available, or you guys mention some, I'll look into them and I'll give them a shout out. But I don't think I'm ever going to make a official call on one, just because I don't really want to be responsible on that end. So that's my opinion on ICOs.
No, that's where we stand. VEN, VeChain. Let's look at that real quick. Somebody asked. I know that's one I've been asked about. I mean, that chart's holding very, very well. That's an hourly, so holding the gains unbelievably there. So, do you know much about VeChain?
I do not know a ton about VeChain, not off the top of my head. I've looked into it, but nothing to really give informative information.
Yeah, I wouldn't
right
mind
now.
you take a look at that, because
I'll write that down on the list.
I got a few clients asking about that.
Maybe tomorrow we'll do BAT and VeChain if I get around to it.
Right, if you get around to it. XRP, guys, everybody knows this is not our official job. This is more like almost playtime for me. It's almost get a break from my monotony of the day. So, and Nick's, putting in long hours as well. So, there's XRP 5 minute, and when we bounce down there at 85 level up to 135 where we're at now, trying to put this 5 waves together. These charts are going to look really good if we can keep it moving here. This is the Ripple 1 hour. I mean, it did come back here, at this 92 level, which same thing on a lot of these charts is kind of, it looks like a previous 4th wave support. So I think you could probably own some Ripple here and be okay. And we got Bitcoin 11.4. Go back to the 3 minute chart. And as I said earlier, looks like we're trying to put a 5 wave advance there. Ethereum 1047, trying to do, almost did a 5 wave there. So Litecoin $1.91, 191. I mean, these things are trying. Neo touches a new high. So
Miguel said Bitcoin's trying to make a higher high here. I'm not sure on which exchange he's looking at, but pushing over 11.5.
I mean, everything's right up here. So guys, that's about 50 minutes. Let me check a couple things here. WTC. Nick, do you know much about WTC?
That's Walton Chain, I believe. That was the one that we were giving somebody a buy when I was about 15. I know that went through. Everybody was talking about that for a while, but then with all these other smaller coins coming alive, it kind of got on the back burner. But I think this is one that actually has a working project and is one to keep an eye on.
I mean, it did come alive there and then getting pulled back down. So, as we were looking at that thing back here.
Yeah, people are starting to pull away from it too when, the Trons and the Verges and all these other ones are starting to pump. So
it's acting much better. So that one might be all right as well. So the pork father with the portfolios, we have got to get out of here, guys.
Somebody said something about, is it related to Walmart? I just think that's a coincidence. I do not believe that there's any relation there. I could be wrong, but I do not think so.
Start their own Walton coin.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's going to be it. Nick and I are going to get out of here.
Good talking to you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're not part of the students, if you haven't taken the course, we have that in the description. And also, if you're looking to become a private client member, we have that in the description as well. You can get some more information from those websites, and you can always reach us by email.
Yep.
I'll talk to you guys.